everyone. This is Jarrett Cross. Just wanted to come to you with a weekend recap from the Roar Report. And I'm actually joined today by my wife, Mary Cross. And we're going to try something a little different and have her give me some questions that we're going to go through, almost kind of like an interview. Just where we're going to recap the weekend and then look ahead at the Ice Cats' first playoff series. So, Mary, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks. I feel like the Roar Report was kind of born because I am a question person. And so, Jarrett and I both grew up going to PD Pride games. But, I was in it for the frozen Minute Maid lemonade that we got at the stands. I knew nothing about hockey. I've been ice skating a few times, and it wasn't until this year that Jarrett told me that hockey skates are different than ice skates. So, this is all new to me. And so I ask a lot of questions. And so I have enjoyed learning alongside everybody else. I just think it's amazing to have this group in the PD. Anyway, I figured why not get on here and ask questions like I do in everyday life anyway. I will tell you this is different than, Sammy Fryer puts out the Florence Foodie podcast. Oh, yeah. He does a phenomenal job every week, giving a great recap. He brings in some amazing folks. He's had the coach, he's had the assistant coach, he's had owners. He does a fantastic job. So go check him out for a really good in-depth game recap. He knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
Because he's familiar with hockey. And so that's not what this is. This is just more kind of picking Jarrett's brain. Jarrett is a stats person. Just kind of giving a glimpse into our personal life. His job deals with stats. He's just really good with numbers. And so I kind of like to see his mind and his strengths, what he thinks are strengths through that lens. And so anyway, I guess I'll just go ahead and get started.
Well,
so we had a weekend of 2 overtime games.
I know.
Against Columbus River Dragons. I just realized, I don't know if you know this, but we started our the PD Ice Cat season against the River Dragons. And how did we end it? Against the River Dragons.
And that first game that we played against the River Dragons went to a shootout, which was also overtime and then shootout, which we did drop that game. But thankfully, the second game that we played against Columbus this past weekend went to overtime again, but we came away with the win.
So tell me what exactly, what were your thoughts? We had a Friday night game. The score was 6-6, went into overtime, and Columbus came out on top. Then we go into Saturday, and looks totally different. We have a 1-1 game in overtime, and Dominic De La Savita brings us home with the win in overtime. So what, just looking back at the weekend, what are some things that stand out to you from the weekend?
So, the big difference between the two games is offense versus defense. You look at the first game, and it is just an offensive explosion. 13 points combined between the two teams, 6-6 through the first 3 periods. And then you look at Saturday night, and it's 1-1 at the end of 3. And then we go to overtime, obviously, to finish things off. So, very different styles to the game, I guess. Goaltending was very, very different performances both those nights. Another thing, too, that I do want to point out, I know Parker Rutherford's in goal for the first night. He has to stop the shots, but he's also got to get support from defense. And defense played pretty well for the first 2 periods, but it seemed like things kind of slacked up a little bit in the third, and that allowed Columbus to claw their way back into it. So it's not everybody, and this is one thing that everyone has to realize, it's not all on the goalie to stop the shots. It's a team effort. Everybody's got to be part of that, and I feel like the team, speaking of the team as the Ice Cats, might have gotten a little ahead of themselves with that nice 4-point lead going into the third. and
that was a shocking. Like,
yeah, allowing that
after the first period, I was like, "Oh, this is not going
Yeah.
great." And then by the second period, it was like, "Oh, we've got this in the bag." And
Yep.
like, I wonder if kind of everybody had that thought process.
Yeah, I'll be honest. After that second period, I was like, all right, well, I might as well just go ahead and switch it over to Athens Monroe because it looks like this one's over. But nope, not quite.
But you also have a tough team. Like Columbus River Dragons, they're not somebody you need to sleep on.
No.
And we've seen that throughout this season. Like, right before we cut one of their, like, they had like a 7-game winning streak, and we broke that just a month ago. If I'm remembering correctly, but maybe not.
Somewhere, I can't, yeah.
But, like, they're not ones to just give up a fight. So, I think you have to think about that when you're watching this team.
So, yeah, those were the big that stood out a lot. I think between the two games, just a very different. And hats off to Colgan, did a fantastic job in goal last night. I don't have the shot count right in front of me just yet, but he only allowed one goal in, and again, I mean, I do have to say, yes, the goalie is responsible as the last line of defense, but the rest of the team has to support him. And I felt like the guys really stepped up well the second night. I think that the first night was honestly kind of a wake-up call, a bit of a splash of cold water on the face, and it helped them realize, well, okay, we got the victory against Twin City, we're in the playoffs, but that's over, and we can't just get in on merit. We've got to be able to keep fighting and get through this. You look at shots in the second night, 32 for Columbus, 37 for PD. Pretty similar, but Colgan still able to turn away 31 of those. So great job from him. Hats off to Brendan Colgan.
We saw something really interesting the second night too that I've always wondered. We look at the PD Ice Cats, and we we've had some issues with, like, our ice on a couple different games, and so I always wondered. I was like, I wonder, like, how sturdy the glass is that, or that
Yeah.
and I always was like, is that going to come out if the guys hit it hard enough? And I think we were proven that does happen.
It can happen.
Because over the guys, I don't even know who it was, but they hit against the wall, and
Doherty McGildiaz there, and that hit over in the corner.
And they had to pause the game, and but I'll give hats off to the River Dragons staff. They got it taken care of really quick, and so that was just a fun thing. It was like, I wonder if that ever happens. Well, it does. So anyway, okay.
One last thought that I want to put on the Ice Cats River Dragons, just looking at the season as a whole. 13 games altogether. End of the entire series over the course of the season. PD wins 7. Columbus wins 6. So PD will go out on top in the regular season between the two teams as the winner in across all 13 games in that series.
Well, how about that?
All right. What you got?
Now, we have finished our regular season, and we're heading into playoffs. We obviously look at this past weekend. It was kind of a toss-up. Are we going to be playing the Monroe Moccasins, or are we going to be playing the Athens Rock Lobsters? And after this weekend, the Rock Lobsters came out on top. So do you have anything about this past weekend from them? And then kind of just looking ahead, what should we expect? I guess, start wherever you want, and then I'll ask questions as we go.
Yep. So I do have a couple of thoughts just to bring up really quick. One thing that was different about the Rock Lobsters in this past series with Monroe, they were playing a bit shorthanded. They had a few guys out. Garrett Milan was out on injured reserve. Philip Virgili and Malik Johnson were also both out after being suspended during the altercations that occurred after the Athens-Indiana game where Indiana upset them, I think week before last. So those 3 will likely be back. I would imagine they should be back, all 3 of them, for the first playoff series. So, which is not necessarily a negative for PD because we've already seen them. I mean, nothing against them at all, but I would rather not have Garrett Milan out there. He is very dangerous, but I mean, he's just a great player. So I'm happy that he's going to be healthy, but for foreseeably. But yeah, that is one thing that the Moccasins, they did not have to face them, and yet they still dropped. The Moccasins dropped both games. If I'm not mistaken, Monroe has only beaten Athens once, maybe twice this entire season. So maybe twice. I think they might have won last week. I'm sorry, the week before last. But Athens has had their number. And if you look at PD, we've actually been able to be fairly competitive against Athens. So I am not, I think the Lobsters, they are a familiar foe for us. 25% of our regular season games, yep, that's right, 15 of the games that we played throughout 2025, 2026 were against Athens, so we've definitely seen a lot more of them. And I think they're just going to bring that, and they're going to bring their same Lobster style of intensity, their aggressiveness, their physicality, and their ability to score quickly. That's what we're just going to have to be ready for. If you look back at the Moccasins-Athens game, especially that second one, Athens just blew the lid off that thing in the second game. And that is one thing that makes them dangerous. Similar to Columbus, is that if you give them an inch, they can take it a mile very quickly and rattle off 2-3 goals in quick succession on you. So you've got to be on your game. You cannot let them get momentum. If they do, you've got to stop them quickly.
I feel like also, the Rock Lobsters very similar to the River Dragons from this weekend. Like, they're a full 60-minute team. They're not going to let up. They're not going to run out of gas towards the end. And so, like, we've just got to be there for all 60 minutes of the game. All right, last question kind of about this past weekend. When you look at the game, what players or specific plays during the game impressed you?
Well, and I'll just speak specifically about Ice Cap players. There were, and really, because I thought about this afterwards, there were two in particular that I was really, really happy for, and that they impressed me too. One is Drew Welsh. This has been a long time coming. The guy he's got good offensive instincts. He's able to move the puck well and get the puck to folks who are open. But I've been waiting on him to get his first goal. You wait for, and he's been playing with us for several games now. And I was just thrilled when he got that goal to tie things up there for us in the second game. Love being able to see that for him and the excitement and his celebration. Just super happy for him. And the other, and I think this is really cool. The other player that I was really excited for was Jake Cox. So he is Columbus, Georgia native. So if you look at his bio on the FPHL website, you'll see that he is from Columbus, Georgia, which is familiar. Where we were playing yesterday. So, or Friday and Saturday night. So can you imagine being able to go back in and play in the same arena that you probably played in growing up some and played, I think he played for the River Dragons at one point, but to be able to get that shot where, and Nolan Sargent, new signee, already contributing, fired a shot on goal from near the blue line, went right towards Cox, and he redirected it into the net past Trevor Babin to be able to get that score. You just got to imagine how thrilled he was and happy to be able to score a goal against the River Dragons in his hometown. That's huge. Right. So super pumped for both those guys. Really happy with the chance they got to contribute to the team this past weekend.
And speaking of them, they both just recently joined us. They were some of our most recent ones. I think both of them kind of joined right around that Blue Ridge Bobcat series.
So Cox actually flew in for the second game against the Bobcats. He flew into the Greensboro Airport, I think on the Friday before, and then he joined the team and started. He was on the ice that Saturday, so really quick turnaround. Got those 5 games in to be able to be eligible to play. Well, he was already playing at the Zydeco over the season, so I don't think that matters. Yeah. But he was already eligible. But I think Welsh joined us a little bit earlier. But and don't worry, wrong. Hey, don't worry. No, you're good. But he's also been quite recent, so. Yeah, that's just really happy for them to be able to see them be able to contribute to the team that quickly after signing.
Okay, so Rock Lobsters. We've played them for 15 games. Kind of looking back over the season, what what have our stats kind of been against them? Where have our strengths been? And where do we really need to kind of pinpoint what are some weaknesses we kind of need to fine tune this week?
Yeah.
I say this as a we, like I'm out there on the ice.
No,
we love to speak like we have any
Like
input in this.
Yeah.
I am just a spectator and just enjoy watching. But if you can kind of just look at the Ice Cats team as a whole, look at the Rock Lobsters as a whole, what do you see the Rock Lobsters bringing in at full force this upcoming weekend? And what do you see the Ice Cats kind of coming back with? What are both teams' strengths and kind of weaknesses?
So some very interesting stats that I think it'll be fun to know. I mentioned already that we've played 15 games against the Rock Lobsters in the regular season, which counts for 25% of all of our games. These two teams they've probably seen more of each other than they wanted to, just because of how the schedule felt. I mean, how it was dealt this past year.
But let's be honest, these guys really do love each other.
They do at the end of the day. I mean, I think quite honestly, like,
they all know each other.
They do, yeah. So you look at I mean, at the end of the day, you got to look at it like they're all professionals, the way you would look at a colleague somewhere else. Like So, but at the same time, it's going to be a different game style coming up in playoff hockey. There's a little bit more at stake. You don't get the well, we didn't get them this time, we might get them in a couple weeks. Like, it's either you get them now or you get kicked out and go home. All right, so we talked about how frequently they've seen each other. I think another stat that is very interesting, and especially when you consider how many times they've played and how would you say it? It would seem like if you look at the past scores in games against between the Ice Cats and Rock Lobsters, you'd be tempted to look and say, wow, well, Athens won, 12 out of those 15 contests. They were clearly dominant, and the Ice Cats only won 3. They're not as great. Well, it might look like that initially, but if you take a look and tally up the number of goals scored by each squad, Athens does come out with I think it was a plus 14, plus 15, prior to the last game of the season, against them in the regular season. I think it was a plus 14 goal differential for Athens against versus PD. If you average that out, it's right around 1 goal per game, or maybe a little bit over if I look at all 15 games. 1 goal difference is not that much. I mean, you think about that, if you were to even that across the board, Athens would come out on top, but that's not a huge advantage. And prior to this past couple of weekends with Athens playing Monroe, Athens had a plus 10 goal differential versus Monroe with far fewer games played against the Moccasins. So I think if you look at it a little more closely, Athens and PD are a little bit more closely matched up than you would think, just right off the bat. As far as strengths and weaknesses go, I think I already touched on it a moment ago. Athens is a very physical, fast, intense team. There are a lot of veteran players on that team too. They actually lost in the first round of the playoffs last year after having a really good season, and they're going to be bringing that same kind of intensity to this game. They're also going to be looking out for for some redemption, I guess, as it were. So they are going to be very focused coming into this weekend. I don't doubt that one bit. And that's one thing that kind of plays into it has been a bit of a weakness at times for PD this year, is not maintaining focus and either looking too far ahead or being distracted, maybe there are different factors at play that I'm just not privy to as a spectator or as a fan. But that's one thing that PD is going to have to be very, very careful about heading into this weekend, is making sure that they are locked in, that they are ready to bring their A game every bit, because it is a foregone conclusion Athens will be. They will be firing on all cylinders. They're coming in riding a very dominant win against the second team in the Continental last week. they're ready to play. So PD is going to have to. They can't whiffle and go back and forth. Either they'd be on a hot streak for a few weeks, and then they'd all of a sudden get cold, and they'd have a long losing streak. There can't be any of that. You got to bring intensity to every game. Strengths. I think one of PD's really great strengths is just their closeness as a team, and it just seems like this group genuinely loves and appreciates each other, and they, interestingly, even though they've had so many personnel get mixed in multiple times throughout the year, they're able to integrate well fairly quickly, and they're able to find that chemistry well. And I think that we're at a pretty good spot, even with some late signees and being able to get them integrated. And that gives Athens a little bit of a new look. There are some new guys on the squad that they haven't seen before, where for Athens, for PD, we've seen pretty much the same faces on the Rock Lobsters week in, week out. But Athens is going to have some new guys that they're going to have to account for in some ways. And that could be, that might be a little bit of a secret weapon for the Ice Cats in some ways. We'll see. We'll see how it all pans out.
Looking at it, it's currently April 12th. April 12th. The last time we played the Rock Lobsters was March 11th. They're going to be seeing a new team. And, what will that bring?
Yep.
On the same side, the Rock Lobsters have also, made some changes themselves, and at least, I'm just assuming.
No, actually, that's a good point. You're right. We have seen Gus Ford when we played Twin City. We have not seen him in a Rock Lobster uniform. So that is a good call out.
But Rock Lobsters also lost some people to Twin City.
They did.
In order to make that exchange. And so, it'll be interesting. We have played Twin City since that time. We played them last weekend. And so, anyway, last weekend. The weekend before.
I know what you meant. Yeah.
All right. So, as we kind of look ahead, this week, if you just are interested in FPHL hockey, you should get excited, because there's a lot of games starting Wednesday night. I think is the first
Right. That's true.
Games, and so if you like hockey, this is your week. Enjoy.
Yep. This is
all
your
of
chance.
the games.
This is just a few more weeks. I know that the postseason will wrap up at the very beginning of May. So this is it's sad to say, but this is kind of the last hurrah before summertime.
Yeah. So looking at the information that the PDI Cats have put out, if you want to make it to the game, please, let's be there for our guys. Let's show up and show out. The game schedule, so what it looks like, we came in as a 4th seed, and Athens is the 1st seed. So we play against them, and they will begin the series on Friday night. What time is that game?
I believe that one's at 7:05.
Okay.
That's going to be in Athens.
At the Athens Ford Arena.
Yep.
If you want to travel over there, go get you a ticket and cheer them on. But if not, it will be on YouTube. And, Tom Callahan giving us the play-by-play. Love that. And
Tom always does a great job.
He does. He helps those like me who are not quick to understand the game. So anyway, so that's going to be happening Friday night. But Saturday is the game here in Florence at the Florence Center, and that game starts at what time?
That one is at 7:15, so just a little bit later.
But make sure to get your tickets. Tickets are already on sale. Ticketmaster has them. But I really recommend going to the box office at the Florence Center. So here's kind of some of the times that you can go up to the Florence Center this week. You want to go through those?
Absolutely. So it looks like tomorrow, Monday, 4/13, or whenever you're listening to this, April 13th, the box office will be closed. Tuesday, April 14th, they will be open from noon until 5 p.m. Wednesday, April 15th, the box office at the Florence Center will be open from 1 p.m. until 5 p.m. That will be your last chance until game day to be, from what I'm seeing here on the box office hours, unless they change it on us here in a few days. That will be your last chance to get tickets at the box office. You can obviously get them through Ticketmaster at any point 24/7 up until, I guess, until the day of the game. So plenty of opportunities still left. You can go out there and get some tickets. And yeah, just like Mary said, let's try to get this place packed out. It is a white out too for the game. So the team wants everybody to, wear white. We want to have the entire arena. We've got red seats, blue seats, green seats. We want the guys to be looking up in the stands and seeing nothing but white. So white out for Saturday night's game at the Florence Center this Saturday, 7:15.
And just be aware, for the playoffs for this round, it is best 2 out of 3. So we start in Athens, we come to Florence, and then if there is no declared winner by the second night, that Sunday they'll play again at the Athens Ford Arena in Athens, Georgia. So really hoping though that, we PD Ice Cats can just get them the first 2 games. And
absolutely. That'd be great.
That'd be great. If you just are interested in our side, in our division, we are, what are we? There's Continental and there's Empire.
Continental.
We're in the Continental. And so the second and third seeds are going to be the Monroe Moccasins and the Columbus River Dragons. And so they'll be duking it out. And so if we move forward, we will go against one of them, I guess, that next weekend. Would that be?
Yep, I believe that's right.
So anyway, I am excited. I'm excited for another weekend of hockey. And
definitely.
We've got a really great group of guys, and we've got just great coaches, great owners.
Yep.
It's just been
great fans.
Yeah.
Great fans. It has been so fun to see everybody turn out for the games and all the passion that everybody's displayed, and just how excited everyone's been for the return of hockey to the PD. So even though we're coming up on the end of the season overall by the beginning of May, bring that same intensity and passion as we welcome the guys back in October.
That's right.
So make sure that, we want to make sure they feel just as loved next year, and even more so than they were this year.
And make sure, go ahead and get your season tickets, because we all know you're like, should I get them? Go ahead and get the season tickets. Yeah. It's so worth it. You know what? When Jarrett went to go get season tickets at the beginning of this year, I was like, oh my goodness. And now I'm like it's just the best.
Yeah.
Just our kids have loved it. We have loved it, and it's just brought a whole new community. So,
and if you can't get the tickets, try to make as many games as you can. You won't regret it, and I think that's one of the things that we've really enjoyed in particular. Just like you were saying, is the community and the folks that we've been able to meet from this. Like, you get to meet people at the hockey games that you may never meet or even knew were in Florence up until then, and it has been such a blast getting to know so many people through this. So try to take advantage of it. If this is your first time hearing about the Ice Cats, there's not a lot of games left. They get to make it all the way to the Cup, but try to come out and join us this Saturday. I don't think you'll regret it. I think you'll have a blast.
You will not. You won't regret it. And again, just some other people to check out. Check out Sammy Fryer, Florence Foodies. He's got great stuff. Fed League Flash. That
is the source for FPHL info. If you want to learn more about the league and just get really good league-wide insights into what's happening within the FPHL, you need to go check out the Fed League Flash on YouTube. He has hundreds of videos out there, incredible insights. Gary Ryan is the man when it comes to Federal Prospects League hockey. Go check his YouTube channel out. Go follow him on Facebook. He is constantly posting updates. You definitely want to be sure to follow him during the summer too, because if you're a new fan or newer fan, he has some great content out there that will help you out tremendously to learn more about the league.
Yeah, and also, Coach's show comes out on Monday nights. Tom Callahan and Coach Gary Graham kind of go through what's been going on. So we'll see if that happens tomorrow or not. But it's been such a good season, and yeah, keep all your questions coming because I know I'll have more questions as time goes on. So thanks for checking it out.
Yep. Well, thanks for hopping in or tuning in, I guess, to listen to us. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you this Saturday at the Florence Center. Go Ice Cats!